Ever feel like you now wake up and you're so sore, tired, and achy, like more sore, tired, and achy than you ever were after your hardest workout? Like you aged a decade overnight? Like poof, your flexibility just disappeared? What if I told you that to get it back, there was one simple solution? Stop just stretching more. Because while most of us think we want to be more flexible, what we actually want is more than that. We want to improve not only our flexibility, but also our mobility and stability. We don't want to get up out of bed and feel like everything is in need of oil. We don't want to struggle with aches and pains going up and down the stairs, or struggle to get up and down off the ground. We want to feel like we can take on any hiking, biking, or fitness challenge that comes our way. That's why I want to share 4 common reasons that our flexibility work isn't paying off the way we'd like, and how we can get better results faster. But first, I want to clarify what these 3 terms actually mean: flexibility, mobility, and stability. Flexibility is really the ability of a muscle or muscle group to lengthen and stretch. Mobility is the ability of joints to move through a full range of motion. Stability is the ability to control and maintain joint movement and position. All 3 of these things are really linked. If we don't work on all 3 components together, we aren't going to see the results we want. And often not seeing these 3 components as linked is why our flexibility training isn't paying off the way we'd like. Now, how can you make changes that don't waste your time and have you feeling like you're moving better than you did a decade ago? Mistake number 1 is we're spending time stretching muscles that we shouldn't be stretching. If a muscle feels tight, we often think we need to stretch it. And while many muscles that feel tight can actually be shortened and in need of stretching, we have to realize that this isn't always the case. When this isn't the case, stretching can actually make matters worse. So it's key we're able to determine the underlying cause of tightness first. A muscle can become tight because of a lack of joint stability or even improper joint mobility or alignment. Our body simply wants to protect itself. If a joint is unstable, it will do what it can to create that stability, which means potentially creating muscular tension. It may mean we create tension in a muscle that really shouldn't be working that hard to provide that stability. Until you actually address the muscle that is weak and underactive and not supporting the joint the way it should, this muscle will keep becoming tight no matter how much you stretch it. And even stretching it may perpetuate the issue further. Muscles can feel tight because they're actually overstretched. Take, for instance, our hamstrings. They're actually a great example often of a lack of joint stability and joint alignment or positioning, causing tightness over a muscle actually being shortened. Many of us have thought to ourselves, I need to stretch my hamstrings more, they feel so tight. But often in the case of our hamstrings, they're actually overstretched due to tight hip flexors from sitting far too much at our computers or traveling in our car. They may also be tight because of underactive glutes not doing their part to help with pelvic alignment and hip stability. So tension is created to help provide that stability where it's lacking. Because of this, while it may feel like you should stretch your hamstrings more, stretching actually makes matters worse. Instead, you'd be better served by doing glute activation work and stretching of your hip flexors to restore proper joint mobility and stability. This correction of postural distortions will ultimately help you improve your hamstring flexibility without stretching them. Which leads me to reason number 2, we often aren't seeing the results we'd like from our flexibility work. Mistake number 2 is we're not actually focusing on the opposing muscle group in the stretch. How many times have you done a stretch and just tried to feel the muscle stretching? Most of us have done this. And sometimes we even do a stretch and think to ourselves, I don't even really feel this stretch. And then we pride ourselves on trying to stretch further. Or we think, I stretch this all the time. Why isn't it helping? I see this often with hip stretches. People supposedly stretch their hip flexors a ton, but they never see improvements in their hip mobility. But it's because they actually aren't stretching the muscles they think they are in the movements. Too often with moves, we go through the motions, mimicking the movements. Our body likes to take the path of least resistance, meaning it's going to find mobility or flexibility out of any area that it can, even if it's not the correct points. So when we end up doing a hip flexor stretch, we arch our lower backs or we don't engage our glutes. But instead of just mimicking a movement pattern or even thinking about the muscle we want to stretch, we need to focus on engaging the opposing muscle group. We need to focus on the muscle driving the stretch. If you want to stretch your hips, focus on squeezing your glutes to drive the hip extension. If you want to stretch your chest to prevent those rounded shoulders, focus on engaging your upper back to open up your chest. Not only does engaging the opposing muscle group stretch what you're trying to stretch, but it can also improve your mind-body connection to activate underactive muscle groups, which will also improve your joint mobility and stability as well. If you're looking to learn more about specifically improving your hip stretches, check out the link I included to another video in the video description. Mistake number 3 is we're sabotaging our flexibility gains with our strength workouts. Strength training is essential if you want to maintain your flexibility, mobility, and stability. However, too often we do our strength training only working in one plane of motion or not through the fullest range of motion we truly can. If we want to be more flexible, more mobile, and more stable, we need to build strength through a full range of motion. Only when you do your strength work through a bigger range of motion do you keep the flexibility of muscles you worked hard to create. If you keep limiting the range of motion you use in your strength workouts, you're going to keep having muscles tighten back up. So if you've worked hard to improve your hip flexor flexibility and hip mobility, make sure your strength workouts do include movements to go through this fuller range of motion, even if it means going lighter to start. Lunge lowering your knee to the ground. Perform step-ups from a higher box, but strengthen through that full range of motion so you can maintain it. Otherwise, your flexibility and mobility work will constantly be negated by your other training, and you won't then improve your joint stability through that full range of motion. Mistake number 4 is including just a single flexibility day each and every week. While having a day set aside each week to specifically and solely work on your flexibility, mobility, and even stability is amazing, you need to address these components every single workout to see the best results as fast as possible. We get good at what we consistently do, and most of us aren't truly patient enough for a single weekly session to add up over time. Not to mention, so much of the postures and positions we put ourselves in on a daily basis work against what we're trying to accomplish. So if we want the best possible results, every warm-up should include the flexibility, mobility, and stability work we need. And this is why that 3-step prehab process is so essential. By including foam rolling, stretching, and activation exercises every single warm-up, we can consistently be doing small amounts of the mobility work we need more often, especially to reverse our daily postures. And not only that, we can prep our body to move better during our training, so we can strengthen through a full range of motion to maintain that muscle flexibility we've worked so hard to create. Doing this mobility, flexibility, and stability work in our warm-up also allows us to make sure the correct muscles are working so we don't perpetuate muscles being overused and becoming tight due to improper joint alignment or instability. Instead of stressing a super long flexibility workout, try just even 10 minutes as a warm-up before every workout. Those small, consistent sessions done as your warm-up will help you get more out of your workouts and will add up more than you realize. For my podcast on the 3-step prehab process, check out the video description for a link. Just remember, if you want to improve your flexibility, you can't ignore the importance of also working on your joint mobility and stability. Be intentional with your training. Everything you include should really have a purpose, and you want to focus on what you actually feel working. If you liked the video, make sure to like it, comment below if you have any questions, and subscribe. We're posting new videos each week.